We'll figure it out.
We are going to figure it out. We are gathered around the Arcadia Roundtable for the second episode of this illustrious, it's probably a bit soon to call it illustrious, but it's going to be an illustrious podcast. I have with me, as usual, the Darge Knight. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Just another busy week at work, and just looking forward to talking with some of the people in the chat and you boys about what's going on this week with the gaming.
You can definitely see Darge has upgraded his camera since last week, so you can see the follicles where his hair used to be. It's gorgeous. So thanks for that, Darge. We've also got Chris Grannell, unfortunately, is away on doing a business today, so he can't join us. But we do have our good friend Gamzly from the Xbox Series podcast has stepped up and come in here. So how you doing, Gamzly?
I'm fantastic, and people in the chat that are shocked that I'm here and don't want to hear me, I got something to say. I'm here to stay, baby. I killed Chris. He's gone. He's in my freezer. No, nothing's happening. I'm glad to be here. Let's go.
Well, there you go. Gamzly has killed Chris. I'm like sick as a dog, sick as a dag, as our Alex would say. So I'm a bit slow and stuff through, but these two will carry you through. And I've got all of you here to talk to us as well. So please do be as interactive as you can, say as much as you can, give us lots of questions when that box is up and available. And we'll go through some topics. Before we do topics, though, let's talk about what we've been playing. So, Darge, you've had some games this week. Tell me what you're up to.
Yeah. Right. So I started off carrying on with Death Stranding that we spoke about last week. Do you know what? I don't know what it is about that game. I keep saying about the Mads Mikkelsen little snippet scenes that you get, and they're the sort of things that are the story. That's what I want to know. What all that is. Do you know what I mean? So that keeps me going back. But obviously, excuse me, with what we had coming up this week, I got Helldivers on Friday, I think, or Saturday. Didn't get to play too much of it, but got to play a bit of it, which we'll talk about in a little while. And also jumped on that Skull and Bones beta before it went live today, which I had no clue about until you told me earlier. But that's pretty, and a little bit of Brotato because Gamzly's here, done a little bit of that as well.
Yes, let's team up on him. Let's team up.
You can do that. Does tell me a bit about Death Stranding though. So you're how many hours into it now, ish?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I'm probably, it is a joke. Like, I'm probably over 10 hours into the game, play-wise, but there is a lot of cutscenes, and they're long. But, like I say, the Mads Mikkelsen stuff, when you get them, they're very short, but they're the ones where I'm like, I want to know what's going on here. You know, the main story that you're playing in the game is, like, quite self-explanatory. It's like, oh, you're going to go and connect, you know, the United States again. But yeah, I got about 10 hours in, and, you know, like, I was part of the Xbox gang and all that back in the day. I was trolling that game as a FedEx delivery simulator and stuff like that. And it kind of is what it is, but as you progress, you're rewarded each time you get somewhere else. So every time you get to another base and connect that to the chiral database or network or whatever it's called in the game, you get new things. You get rewarded each time with something new that will help you get somewhere else. You know what I mean? And yeah, but like I said,
your dopamine, huh? It hits your dopamine so strong.
Yeah, but I know what I like. A big thing with me is I'll start and own everything, but I'll never finish anything. And I could drop this game in a heartbeat if the Mads Mikkelsen stuff don't really hit, or if it goes on too long without a cutscene to keep me engrossed in the story, you know? So, yeah, if I'm just keep walking and doing these little side questy bits, I could see that boring me, you know? So, but at the minute, I'm still fully on board with Death Stranding.
Okay, so Is it the story that's driving you forwards, though, or do you actually enjoy the delivery aspects of it?
Well, so you are delivering, but as you're delivering, you're discovering new places. Yeah, so there's a new place to go to. Oh, you need to go and connect this place. Yeah, so then like, for example, without going, it's not really a spoiler. A lot of the starting area is like in like a highlandy type grassy mountains range, stuff like that. And then one of the next places I got to was like a port. So there's a huge port area with like cargo shipping containers and stuff like that. And that's sort of, but it is mainly the story. I ain't gonna lie. If the story's half decent, it will keep me going anyway. But if the gameplay's pony, I'll just drop it. You know. So I would say the story, that part of the story.
It's really the acting. It's the acting and like the Japanese style of storytelling that's really like engrossing. Yeah. Really written well. Mm-hmm.
Gamzly, what have you been playing?
What I've been playing, well, Brotato. So anyway, speaking of Brotato, so Darge.
I was gonna get more.
How are you liking Brotato? Yeah.
Brotato, I'm late to the party with everything. So when I got my Steam Deck, I started doing Vampire Survivors. Just these, like, because I said it last week on the show, I'm never going to play Death Stranding on a Steam Deck. You know, I want the visual, I want the full effect of that game. But these fun type ones. So I did Vampire Survivors. And then I spoke with the Twitter community, any other ideas of games for Steam Deck. And Brotato was one, and I see that it was coming to Game Pass. So I thought, let's have a look. And it is kind of Vampire Survivors, right? It's like auto shoot, survive the rounds.
Hell yeah.
And I think what I enjoy, or my addiction to it, is every time you do a run, not every time, but most of the times you do a run, you'll unlock a different character, a different build that you can go with. And that's just me, though. Like, not everyone's the same, but that keeps me going to keep trying to get
fun,
higher.
Right? It's like really fun. Yeah.
There's worse of things I could do with my time, certainly.
Maybe just
so anyways, so yeah, you know, really fun game, and you know, it really drags your attention to it. Yeah. It does exactly what it needs to do as a video game, right, Asa? No? You wouldn't, would you agree?
No, absolutely do not enjoy Brotato at all. I haven't gone back to it, but I did catch my son playing Brotato. I went into his room and he was playing Brotato. I was like, you shut that down, you're playing proper games. No, he was on it. He was enjoying it. But for me, like, it's just a small brown square, a little rectangle you run around. Vampire Survivors at least gave you some direction and something to do. Like, all the weapons just felt the same and looked the same. Like,
oh my God, it's so not that. You played for like 3 seconds. Anyways, okay, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna go down. I'm just gonna ignore you and do what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm still playing. I'm playing around with Resident Evil 2, which I think that Resident Evil 2. Well, yes, remake on Game Pass. I'm fooling around with that. I think remake or 2, Resident Evil 2, is my most played, like, replayed game, and I'm not sure why. I've played Resident Evil 2, I think every port I've played it. I just am addicted to that game, and I have fond memories of it, and I think it was so well crafted. And the remake it's my first actual time playing the remake, so I never played it on release, and I'm playing it now, and it's just, man, what a game. Now I could see why it was in that Game of the Year, wasn't it, in Game of the Year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it was.
In that year? Yeah, so now I really understand why that remake was there in the first place. Also, you know, there wasn't a ton that year anyway, so I'm not going to fight them on that, but what a fantastic game. So I've been dabbling with that again, and I've been playing Persona. I did pop in and play Helldivers 2 as well for about 3-4 hours-ish, and we'll get into that later.
Wow. So,
how about you, Asa?
Okay.
Go Mecha Ball? Brotato?
I have not returned to Brotato or Go Mecha Ball or Anucard. I did play it a little bit.
No?
So Gamzly on the Thursday, the Xbox Series podcast, he recommends games each week. And the first week he recommended Go Mecha Ball and Brotato, and I could not stand either of them. Second week, he decided to up his game and recommend Anucard. I'm just going to shake my head. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, hear my neck clicking as I shake from left to right. It's just, as recommendations go.
This man doesn't play.
Someone's paying this man. He's a shill.
Anything. No, fuck off. Yeah, it's Game Pass. Game Pass is doing it, man.
I was very relieved when you came on today and said you've been playing Resident Evil 2. Like, wow, so you do actually play games then? Because that one, awesome game. Do. Such a good remake.
Fantastic. Glad we agree.
How fussy am I? I'm not fussy. Episode 13. I've been playing loads of stuff. I've been playing like I don't know, loads of games. Played the weekend on the Sundays. We've done loads of Rocket League and Forza as we always do. I hear that Halo's big team battles have got a load more maps today, so I want to get on that over the next couple of days. I've been playing Skull and Bones and Helldivers as well, but Skull and Bones and Helldivers are both topics that we've got lined up, so I'm not going to go into any detail on those. What else have I been playing? That's not even all. I've played so much stuff. I play games all the time. I'm the biggest gamer person that there is.
Yeah, three minutes of them, and then you bounce, right? 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, like I got to
each.
Yeah, that was about 3 minutes too long.
One shotgun in Brotato, and then
you. Right. Do you know what? Let's talk about the first game that we've got on our topic list, which is Helldivers 2, because all three of us have played some Helldivers 2. It came out, I don't know, sometime last week. It's on PlayStation 5 and PC. I think you two have played it on the PC. I've played it on the PlayStation 5. It is quite an interesting little game, and we've got opposing opinions from Gamzly and Darge. We've got one that seems to enjoy it, and one that says nobody should play it because it's not as good as Potato. I'll let you guess which one's which. Darge, talk me through a little bit of Helldivers 2. What was your kind of first engagement with it? How did you find it?
I see it was doing really, like I say, I think it came out on Friday, and I see it was doing well then, like the way it was hitting. Ended up getting it, but didn't get round to playing it until about Saturday, and then I jumped on, and I don't know, I haven't really put a lot of time in it. I've probably done like 2 or 3 missions of the game, but take away straight like from the go, if I'm doing that with 3 mates or even just 1 mate, you know what I mean, the game will be, I did it on my own, and straight away I knew this was like old Horde mode on Gears of War or Rainbow Six Vegas. It's just when you're playing in a game like that with your pals, you just have memories and fun, you know what I mean? And that's what it seemed like to me. So I personally, I'm quite positive around it. I need to get a group together. We need to play it together because I feel like it'd be much more enjoyable. I see it. Obviously, I went to bed last night, but I see you was dabbling with it for a little while, so I'd be interested to know your thoughts as well. But for a game that's £35 UK, so it's not like a big, AAA price entry, and the potential's there. Sometimes, games don't have to be the best looking or have the most, innovative fucking gameplay. It could just be simple, just smashing these bugs up, have a little mission objective, go and trigger that, survive for X amount of time and extract that, you know what I mean? So for me, I'm looking forward to getting back into the game. It's just, obviously, where I did Skull and Bones and Death Stranding, I didn't have enough time with it, you know what I mean? But now I'll be interested to get back in with others and have a go with it. And I'll just say now, on Helldivers, I'm probably going to end up just putting a code for the game in the chat at some point throughout the show. So whoever gets that, it's a Steam key. So, yeah, fill your boots. But, yeah, over to one of yous.
Yeah, so Gamzly, you are a little negative on this one as far as I can tell, but talk me through your first engagements. How did you find Helldivers? What's good, what's bad?
Okay, well, first, I got dragged in by a friend and FOMO and hype. So in the gamer bubble, all I see is hype, and then my friend called me and he's like, "Hey man, this game Helldivers, it looks like it's blowing up on Steam." I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't want to do this. If it was on, I'm one of those Game Pass guys with these type of games now. I'm like, I'll wait for heavy discount or it'll be on Game Pass and then I'll jump in with some friends, but I don't want to quite buy it. But like Darge says, it was at a really good price. So in Canada, it's $49.99, I think, like that. So really not a full price game at all. So it made it easier to crunch down on it. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll buy it. So I bought it and I played with him. And look, I like the game's fun. It does its thing. Other games like Exoprimal and these, like that other game, it's like a dinosaur game. It's basically this same thing. Go to objective, fight off dinosaurs. Second Extinction. There you go. Thank you, Asa. You do play some games. So you know, it gives kind of a good. It gives same vibes there. Like the fun is playing with your friend. The fun is like the fun stories going from A to B and how you get killed and what you're how the friendly fire and stupid stuff happens. Like, I think that's the true fun of the game. It's just that as I'm playing it, I'm like, man, I've been here before. I've done this stuff. It feels useless. I don't really care. Like, the mission structure is so lame. They're lucky that they have very intriguing enemy designs and variety. They're lucky that they did the planet thing where you go planet to planet and different biomes, and it's really cool, and you fight mechs. One day you're fighting a mech, one day you're fighting a bug. It's really awesome, but the mission structure is so dreadfully boring to me, and it reminds me of why I never stuck with Diablo. And I keep thinking, well, if I didn't stick with Diablo, then how is this going to stick with me, right? It's like the grind and the gear stuff doesn't do it for me. At that point, I need a story, and as I'm going through it, I'm like, man, I wish this was like Halo skin. Like, if this was a Halo skin, Asa, if this had a story I cared about and a galaxy I cared about, because Helldivers 1 didn't really fucking do anything for me lore-wise or whatever. But if this was like, you're playing the ODST guys and you dropping in and you're killing freaking Hive and you're doing all that stuff and the lore is there and the characters are there, I think it would push me forward, kind of like Diablo does for me, where it's just like, well, there's an end goal, there's an end story, you love these characters, go on and do the whole thing and then stay if you want. I wish it was like that, but it's just not, and I don't care about it, but it is fun. I'm not going to shit on it. It's fun. Play it with friends. I would say still wait for a discount. But yeah, that's my whole thing. I just wish it was connected to a universe that I liked. And yeah, I'm just fed up of the grindy games because it feels like I'm doing it for no actual point or reason.
So
yeah,
the point or reason is
and the movement is very. By the way, the movement in it is supposed to feel the way it feels.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you can't even like do an actual like jetpack dodge or whatever. Not to the point where I got. I don't know if there is jetpacks or whatever to like swivel different ways, but I can't dodge in the game. I have to like plant myself on the floor and stuff. It's like super weird. Anyway, I don't know. It's a little awkward.
Yeah, and it's deliberately awkward. So, Boozy the Clown's just asking in there, saying it's inspired by Starship Troopers. Does it contain the anti-fascism satire? Very much, very overtly, very same in tone as Starship Troopers. So, if you're looking for that, then you'll probably enjoy it. But
yeah, but
it doesn't,
you know
like Gamzly says, it doesn't really deliver a story. But it does have, the way that it tries is quite interesting though, because it has like an online community-driven war effort, where whenever you're interacting with the mission table, it will show you how the community is securing different territories on these different planets, and you're supposed to pick your mission according to that. And for me, that doesn't particularly land, because you're part of an effort so big that you feel like you're part of nothing, is how it feels. But like, it's an interesting concept. But every now and again you see it in other games as well, where they'll set like a community challenge. Like this weekend, the community is supposed to get 1 million headshots or something like that. And it's supposed to be enticing and encourage you to go and complete certain activities. But it's too easy to recognize the reality is that whatever that number is, whether it's 1 million or 2 million or whatever, is going to be adjusted according to how many people are currently playing the game. And your effort is actually like, it's just, it feels like a weird manipulation to keep you online without actually making you feel a part of something big. And that is the core of the start of the Helldivers. Like, structure of its story, as it were. And it's not all bad though, because it does mean that you see variety in what missions are available at any given time and date and whatever, depending on how it's progressing through.
Yeah. Can I cut you for one thing?
Please do.
Like I'm so sorry, but the structure, right? It's like, it reminds me of, and this is a weird comparison, but it's like Among Us. It's like, plug in a hose and do this thing, and it kind of just, I don't know, it's flavorless, It's just, the whole point is, I don't know, the missions, if they were just a little bit better, maybe I would be like more compelled to do it, but at some point it just feels like a side bitch thing where you're just doing your task just to do the tasks, just to fend off creatures, and it's just like, plug in the hose doesn't do it for me, etc times 10. I just can't do it. Anyways, continue, Asa. Sorry, I had to get that out.
I've got so Luke Still's in there as well, saying that he's played about 10 hours. Loved the first one and loves this one. It's incredibly good fun, great shooting mechanics, and a rare, extremely good PC port. And that last sentence is an interesting one for me, because I didn't manage to get the game working particularly well at all on the PlayStation, let alone on the PC. Massive matchmaking issues all over the place, and a fairly horrid interface to get around in the first place. But putting that aside, because that is hopefully a temporary issue, it does have, the gunplay is quite unique in that it's deliberately clunky. So a lot of times when you're playing a game, you look for that responsive feel, and you want to be able to dodge. Like I'm playing it thinking, I wish this felt more like Returnal or something. I want to nip about and dodge everything, but you just cannot. You can just Abby flop onto the floor, which is an affectionate term for the way that when you play Abby in The Last of Us, you can just belly flop. That's what you can do in this game. You Abby flop onto the floor, and that's your best evasive maneuvers. And you die a lot, and you are meant to die a lot, and it's meant to be part of the charm and part of the comedy. It's got friendly fire all over the place. It's got loads of, like, everything is hazardous, and you are expected to die. But it does take a bit of getting used to. How did you find that the game felt to play?
I was just going to say, I was just sat here listening to like everything that everyone said, and Luke's still saying he's 10 hours, and maybe like for Gamzly, I've only put like 2 hours, saying like at maximum in the game. But maybe as the game, you put more time in it, maybe the challenge, gets a little bit different, a little bit tougher, stuff like that. And I found the gameplay, like you can do the old Max Payne dive backwards sort of one and all that. And it just feels like, for me, I've got no knowledge of the IP at all of Helldivers. I never played the first one. But it feels like it's more, not necessarily like, I don't know how to explain it, but not really like with the mission focus and everything like that. I think it's more just a co-op pals fuck around game. You're going to, as you progress further in, I'm pretty sure if you had four pals and you were pissing these first few missions, but you're going to hit a wall somewhere along the line. And then when you hit a wall in a game like that, that's when you come away with some of the best memories. Like, do you remember when we was like bombarded with loads and we managed to hold on and stuff like that? So gameplay wise, it is clunky. Like you said, Asa, it feels a little bit scatty. But there's some other mad things in it. It's like, I played it with a controller. So like you hold, I can't remember the term that they call them, but you hold a button down and you have strategy, and you have to input like the D-pad code on mine, and then you get like a support, whether it's more ammunition, an airstrike, or something like that. And that's another little fun, because I could imagine if you're really under pressure by loads of them and you're trying to do this fun like D-pad combo, you'd be sweating and everything, So it's got some weird. It's got some weird gameplay things, but I guess it kind of might be. We see it all the time now with games. Like, they're not the best games, but people sort of levitate to them and get something from them, So it's obviously doing something right with not the majority, but it's doing really well, So yeah, I think it just seems like it's just a fun game overall,
Oh yeah, and the way they do a lot of good things. Like, I didn't touch on everything good. The good things are so enjoyable. Like, it hits your dopamine like so hard. Like the way the bugs like explode and get hit by the bullets, and they start shredding apart, and the explosions themselves, like grenades and bombs and whatever. Like, it's just so well done. The sense of like fear that the bugs actually give you when you're trying to run away from like 7 of them and all your friends are fucking dying around you and you're like, oh my god. It's like everything, all that good stuff is there. It's just that when you dig a little bit deeper, it starts to feel just this, the same as anything else you can get on the market. And I don't know, it's just weird. Like when it gets to that point, you have to have something else to hook you, and to me that's like maybe the story or the characters or maybe just something else to hook me when all else fails. But there's nothing really there for me, so that's the only reason why I'm kind of down on it.
So the other thing that you've said though is you keep saying you recommend that people wait for a sale and things like that. For me, when I'm engaging with games, I would always say that a single player game, they never get worse over time. You can wait as long as you want to play a single player game. But a game like Helldivers, it's so reliant on the community being there that if you miss the wave when there are actually people playing it and there are people to go on it with, then you kind of miss the game, don't you? Like, is it really okay to wait for something like this? Is it still going to be big in a month, 3 months' time?
Well, yeah, the war effort stuff, like you were talking about, doesn't actually, like, that stuff will be impacted, right? So the little, oh my god, you're part of a war and whatever. But does that really matter? What matters is that you have your friend next to you and you're going to kill bugs, right? So it's a co-op game, and that's why you play it. You, like Darge says, you don't go to matchmaking with these things. It's kind of lame. You go to with your friends and your co-op, right? What?
Yeah.
So it's just like. That's like, so any time that there's your friend, like you want to play this thing, it doesn't get worse over time if you have your friend and your buddy there. The overall like war effort galaxy thing, maybe those are different numbers, but it doesn't really matter immediately in your game with your friends. So I don't know.
I agree with you, but I mean, like right now, if I want to play that game after this stream ends, there's probably going to be 6 people to play with, unless you've got a really like, I don't know, people that are really like in tune with you and doing exactly what you're doing. That'll be a bit harder down the line. But you did touch on something interesting there that I want to kind of go into a little bit more as a mini subtopic, because you said that you wouldn't play that game matchmaking with other people, which I don't. I can't stand playing with internet strangers like that. All you people in chat, you're not strangers. You're lovely people, especially Patrick. Thank you again for another 5 gifted memberships. That is very much appreciated. It really genuinely does help massively. I don't like playing with strangers. Yeah. You don't then, Gamzly. You would very rarely go into matchmaking or play with strangers.
I matchmaking in games like this just feels like I could get it if it's like a WoW thing or a Destiny thing or maybe whatever, where you could maybe because you actually like see these people in the world and you could, if it was a natural interaction, maybe, I don't know. But I don't know. It just doesn't do it. For me, this is a co-op game. This is a co-op game. You sit down with your buddies or your chat or your community. You get in there and you have fun whenever the hell you want. But usually you have a group of core friends. If you like these types of games, you have a core friend group. To me, at least, that's an assumption. But like, if you like these type of co-op shooting games like Exoprimal and this, or you like massive multiplayer games like Destiny and World of Warcraft, I mean, chances are you have those little core group of friends that you want to get back to or want to get with, and it's just that's who you're playing with, not just random strangers. I mute that shit. I don't care about random strangers. I have my core friend group. I'm not, interested in that, and it just doesn't turn me on that way. But I could see maybe if you're a little less, or you're connected, I could see what you're saying, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that people actually like matchmaking. I'm not convinced. They might as well be bots. They might as well be bots, Like, what does it have? I didn't notice this. Does it have like proximity chat? Like,
I didn't use the chat in it, so I don't know.
Because if there's like proximity chat, that would be funny as fuck, and maybe that would be like interesting, but without that, I don't know. Kind of stale.
So Helldivers aside, though, like games in general, because I know you, Gamzly, you'll play with random strangers on League of Legends and stuff, but you'll mute them and ignore everything they have to say. What about you, Darge? Do you play with? Do you matchmake in these games and play with strangers?
I don't. No, I don't. I don't usually levitate. That's what I was just going to jump in on the point Gamzly was making. Was in Helldivers' case, the missions are like fairly short. So just say you have got a regular group of blokes who you play with, or whoever you play with, and they're not bad, but you fancy going in because they're like only sort of 10-15 minute rounds, something like that. Like I did the first one on my own solo with no matchmaking, no one else was there. Died a few times, got through it. When I went to do the second mission, there was 3 other people it put in with me, and we was done within about 10 minutes. And that don't affect me at all. Do you know what I mean? But I do understand and appreciate either side of that argument. But I just think if it was Gears of War 5's campaign, I wouldn't matchmake that. Do you know what I mean? That has to be with people I know. Whereas in Helldivers' case, they're like 10 to 15 minute missions. I don't give a shit who I'm doing it with. If I want to do the mission, I'll do it with anyone, you know. But in general, no, I don't matchmake. I used to play, obviously, Call of Duty, so that is matchmake. I don't care who I'm in there with. Do you know what I mean? But nowadays, not so much. If I'm going to do a game, it'll be co-op. You know, like with a mate. Like obviously, I said, you remember all the trouble we had with the Ascent. You know, and I really wanted to get through the Ascent. And now Patrick and Tony from the Discord are talking about doing it, and I said, well, let me know because I'd love to run that game with someone, but I wouldn't just matchmake that game. Do you know what I mean? So I'm probably less matchmaking.
Yeah, but we just said, I'm going to butt in because there are people that will do it. Like episode 13 in chat was like, I'll matchmake all games. Yeah, I get it. But this game specifically, okay? Like games like this, where we just said it on the panel. The whole point is like the funny stories where your mate gets killed or your friend gets killed randomly, you friendly fire him, whatever. Yeah. Like that's part of the story and that's part of the fun. Like we're just, you could have a story with your friend about it. But if it's just some rando, right? It might, like I said, it might as well just be an NPC, like random bot that you're running around, shoot. There's no actual, unless proximity chat is there, there's no actual like, funny moment there. It's like you shoot him in the head, but you're just like, ha ha ha, funny for 3 seconds, but you don't have a story with your buddies or you don't have a story to spread online. Like it's just weird, right? Like you want to have, this is like, to me, you want to have that co-op moment. The matchmaking is just like a bonus if you don't have a bunch of people with you or whatever, but I just don't bond like that anymore online. And especially with this one, like that's the whole fun. It's just the fun of it. Well, the online thing, I never really truly bonded like okay. For instance, that's why I said this co-op game specifically. World of Warcraft, that's a community game. That's a massive multiplayer online thing. You build long-term relationships because you have a guild. You're doing all these things. Like you need to be in good terms with some people in World of Warcraft, or you used to have needed that. But once matchmaking's in, like, look at World of Warcraft now. Matchmaking comes in and it's just robotic, right? It just becomes meh. And you don't really get the same bonds and stories anymore. It's not the same thing. You don't actually need to make a friend. They just get matched with you anyway. It's just like, meh. You treat them like I said, a really good NPC character. And it's just like, okay, why, right? You want to get your friends involved. That's part of the fun. For this thing specifically. Anyway, that's enough on the co-op thing. What do you think, Asa?
Yeah, it's just because people are very different on that, and some people love matchmaking, and for some people, they'll go into matchmaking with strangers, and they will build those experiences that you're talking about. Like, they'll be just as happy having hilarious moments with complete strangers, and maybe they'll make new friendships and all the rest of it. That probably used to be me about 20 years ago. I'd quite happily play an online game with anyone and make loads of online friends.
Don't listen to us.
I don't know. Somewhere along the line, I went completely the opposite way. And now if I was to go into a game like Helldivers and it would just say, well, you need to do this mission with somebody else, I'd just turn it off and play something else. I wouldn't, like, if there was nobody that I knew available, nobody in the Discord available to play it, I'd just go nowhere near it now. Which is why I picked up on you saying any more, because I was curious if you had also changed in that way, or if it was always the way with you that you'd prefer.
It was always kind of the way. I always, even WoW, I wouldn't have even started if I didn't have my brothers. So if I didn't have my brothers to start with, and I'm just going around killing boars by myself, and then I have to make a random friendship with a stranger, it would be really hard. But since I had my brothers and my friends, like one or two that jumped in the bandwagon, it really made it easier and more stories and more laughs along the way. So it's just, I don't know. Matchmaking from the start with no real real purpose, but to get from point A to point B. I don't know.
Quick, keep talking. I'm sneezing and dying.
Oh God, Darge, you have a pretty head. Episode 13. I hate you and love you.
Yeah, we hate to love you. But on the Helldivers, I think I've sort of said, we could sit here arguing the toss about matchmaking. Like it is what it is. I think that in Helldivers' case, the story, the lack of story and stuff like that, I think the game is built more for, like Gamzly said, the memories you can make in doing these little scenarios rather than the actual story. There will be people who care about the story, you know what I mean? But I'm saying for the broader audience, I think the appeal is come shoot some stuff, you know what I mean? And that's it, That's all I've got to say about Helldivers. I'm done with it now.
Cullen Prime in there is saying that, like, yeah, you can get matched with someone if you enjoy your experience with them, then you can friend them for further adventures. And Tony's saying that he goes like open queue on Overwatch, where the community is fucking awful. So there are people that engage with these things quite differently to us, which is, so it's just a little bit fascinating. Let's talk about Skull and Bones. Yeah, Skull and Bones had a beta on the weekend from Friday to Sunday, beta, however you want to say it. And then it came out today. Darge, you've been playing some Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
How did you find it so far?
Well, Chris, it's a shame, obviously, Chris ain't here, only because he's played quite a lot of the alphas and betas that they've released of this game up to it. And he was saying, I don't think it's that bad. So I went into it. Obviously, Ubisoft, give them credit, they can build a world. What they decide to put in it per game is a bit subjective. But so I goes in, I create my face, I create my character. He was bald, but they had like slightly longer length hair. I couldn't get any shorter. But anyway, pick the guy, goes into the game, and you start sailing. And then I don't know why, but I thought there was no third person at all. It was just sort of all at sea sort of thing, And then I see my character at third person on the island, and I was like, oh, well, maybe it is third person. So because it's the Anvil engine, the Assassin's Creed engine, I thought, oh, maybe it has got some combat then. And very quickly I learned you only go third person to traverse the, the docks or whatever you would call them.
Yeah.
The settlements, yeah. So just to talk to vendors and stuff like that. And then there was a blacksmith. So I thought, okay, but maybe you unlock the combat, as you progress. And he's only selling cannons. And I was like, oh, okay. And I still enjoyed it. And I said after playing it, the ship combat's good. I never played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is one that people commonly reference with this game. I'd never played it. The sea in this game, obviously everyone always goes back to Sea of Thieves and the effects of the sea in that game. This game, I found the sea, the physics of the ocean, everything like really good and clear, so you could see the seabed in certain areas. That was good. I just feel like I will play it day one, but I feel like it's a massive missed opportunity not having, like I said earlier, no swashbuckling, that's the term commonly referred to with pirates, is sword fights and things like that. And I don't know, man, unless they surprise. I mean, the map's huge. Like, if you go on the map and actually zoom out, it's a massive map. But I just feel like sailing to and from and not really any combat might affect the game. Do you know what I mean? But I'm going to play it day one. And I've got Ubisoft, whatever it's called. I've been paying for it for months. So, yeah, I might as well use it, right? Yeah, so I've got it now. I didn't even know. This was the other thing. This game has been carnage throughout the whole development. It's been a bit of a joke, hasn't it, this game? Like, it would never see the light of day and this, that, and the other. And then the game obviously comes out. So is it 3 days' time? I think the game is the official launch date.
Yeah, 16th is the official launch.
16th. But where's all the marketing for the game? It's almost as if, like, people were saying, Ubisoft went, we've put so much money into this. We've just got to get something out the door now. Yeah, and we ain't going to put any more money into it with marketing it or this, that, and the other, and we'll just try and get back what we can. Because that's,
marketing's a weird one for games in general, because people always want to see, like, bombastic TV ads during the Super Bowl or whatever. There's not necessarily a great return on that when they do it. Spend or whatever. This one does have a friends referral program and things like that, which makes you think maybe they're actually relying on people liking this game, spreading it around by referring their friends over to it, which is a gamble because it is fairly divisive. I'm sure it's going to be fairly divisive when it comes to actually playing it. Gamzly, you've not done Skull and Bones yet, have you? But do you have any? Like, is it appealing? Do you want to play it?
Like, yeah, my angle on it. First off, I had, when it first got revealed, like Darge, I thought, oh my god, this is gonna be like a Sea of Thieves. You're gonna pop out of your ship and go rob people and do all that stuff, right? I thought that was like the most appealing thing in Sea of Thieves and being a pirate, right? Sea of Thieves, I actually wish they had like these kind of player environments that you could go into dungeons and like kind of kill things and then walk out and go on your ship and then ship combat and then steal things, blah 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 blah. I wish Sea of Thieves actually had more of that. And when you come to this game and see what they're doing and you remove even the like get on the ship, sword fight, gun fight things, and you remove that, it's like, what the heck are you doing? What did you think was gonna happen? It's like that's not what being a pirate's all about. There are these old school games. I don't know, I forgot their names, but they were quite popular. You have like a top-down view, and you just like control a pirate ship, and you go from like port to port, and it's like a little pirate sim type of thing, and you have like your
I know what you mean.
I haven't got a clue.
It's fuck. I'm sure we've seen it. It's actually a good name. It's a big game. It's more like that, where it's just like this sim where you go around and you upgrade your ship and you do whatever. And I don't know if that's appealing right now because we have Sea of Thieves, right? Like it's evolved. Mm-hmm. Like Sea of Thieves really did involve that kind of environment, and now it's just like anything less is kind of weird, isn't it? Again, I feel appealed to play it because I love Ubisoft games. I think Ubisoft games, like, those people are extremely talented. They build cool worlds. They build beautiful worlds. I want to jump in, but it's more because it's beautiful and not so much what you're doing in it. So I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO just to hop in and play, but you guys need to tell me more about what the fuck you even do in this game. Like, so you can't sword fight, you can't like steal ships and stuff like that. What do you do in this game?
Yeah,
so,
it's just,
like, what do you do?
Yeah, so it is pretty, and at the very start of the game, it starts you in like a nicely like fully upgraded ship to get a taste of what you'll be doing later in the game in terms of how the combat plays out. But it's so different to Sea of Thieves. Like the comparison is inevitable and fair. In Sea of Thieves, everything feels really like connected and grounded, and it's simplistic in some ways, but it was nice to run your pirate in and get your ship going by like hoisting the anchor and putting the sails down and running around and just being a little bit hectic in that sense. And this is the opposite. Everything feels much more like much more gamified in a way. Sea of Thieves is gamified, but it feels much more like artificial in the way that you control everything and make everything happen. It feels much more, or much less like a simulation, I should say. So you move the ship. If you're playing on a PC with a keyboard and you want the ship to go forwards, you hold W on the keyboard and you steer it with A and D. And that's weird. You're playing Sea of Thieves, you steer the ship with a steering wheel, and that's how you'd expect to steer a ship. On Skull and Bones, you don't. You steer it more like you're moving a character. And when you go into combat, you hold the aim button, the left trigger on the controller, and it gives you a reticule. And you aim it as if you're playing a first-person shooter, and it will take control for you, and it will fire the correct appropriate cannons depending on where you're aiming. So if you're aiming like starboard side, I'm a pirate, I'll say starboard instead of right. If you're aiming to the right and you pick your target and you press fire on the cannons, it will fire the appropriate cannons. But it's very different to running around on the deck of your ship and getting to the correct cannon and trying to aim it and then go, no, they've moved to the other side, I need to run across the deck and get to the other cannon.
It's just a PvP. It's just a PvP boat game.
It's not, so they call it an MMORPG, right? I've not got very far into its story setup, but it actually seems to be I think it takes the same approach as Sea of Thieves in that one, in that it is all about reputation grind. So the whole setup is that you're starting from the bottom of the pirate world, and then you need to grind pirate missions to be more piratey and be the best pirate ever. And I had a little look through its journal.
Which is weird when you remove the pirate.
Well, you are still pirating, right? It's got this weird disconnect between being on land and being on the boat. So when you're on the boat, you are the boat. You are not a person anymore. You go to a settlement, you become a person, and you run around. You can't do any fighting or anything, but you run around and you talk to people. And then you run to like the port, press disembark to get on your ship, and then you are the boat, not the person anymore. You are now the boat, and you can go out and you can fight other players, and you can raid merchants and do other bits and pieces. Me, I got stuck in the game. The game's too hard for me. One of my first pirate missions was just to go and get some wood. The wood was on land, and I didn't know how to harvest it, so I just took my boat to the land and looked at the wood for a while, going, well, I'm not sure what I need to press to pick up this wood. And I got stuck at that point.
So maybe you should stick with Brotato.
Maybe I should stick with Brotato, stick with my one button, move around. But typically, though, I had to look through the journal and all the stuff that's there, and it is all... The bit that concerns me about it is you've got all these pirate reputations and ranks going, like cutthroat and smuggler and whatever. And the last one is Kingpin 1, Kingpin 2, Kingpin 3, Kingpin 4, Kingpin 5, and it just goes up indefinitely. Like, the end game is just going to be grind. Rather than, like, they present it as an MMORPG. And typically, if you play like a World of Warcraft or a game from before that or after that, these games live and die by the story that they're telling along the way, but this one doesn't necessarily have that. So I'm not sure that it's one that I'm going to enjoy for a very long time. I don't know what their plan is for it going forwards. Ubisoft have obviously described it as a quadruple A super expensive game, and I can see it has been super expensive because they've been working on it for 100 years. They've taken money from governments. They've got the credits run, and it goes through all the studios that they've had work on it, and it's like almost as many countries as there are in the world. Ubisoft have a studio in, and they're like Ubisoft Shanghai, Ubisoft Montreal, Ubisoft Quebec, Ubisoft here, and it's like, whoa, a lot of people who worked on this. I can see why he wants to call it quadruple A, because he spent a lot of money to make it happen. I'm not sure I want to play it for very long.
So sad, because it really does look so nice.
Yeah, they're going to take a big hit on it, though. You know, like if you're going to use the Assassin's Creed engine, they've clearly used that to create the world, you know, and all the beauty within. And then they've just put a ship simulator in there, as Asa said. You know, dependent on what way the ship's facing, it auto switches which side of the ship you're firing from. I just feel like, you know, look, I'll give it a go, but I think it'll get stale pretty quick. Obviously, you have other players in the game, like the PvE element and stuff like that later on. Even Sea of Thieves, you know, if you look at this game and go, oh, look how beautiful this game is, and you go, yeah, can you get off the ship and fight someone? Yeah, and, you know what I mean, actually physically take their goods and get back on your ship, and you go, no, you can't do that, but what you can do is you can throw like these hooks, and then you can board their ship all through a cinematic and actually loot their stuff automatically. And you go, well, let's do, you know, it's just automated. As soon as you hook a ship in, it's like, yeah, we're going to loot that ship now, and it'll just get very same. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong.
It's too bad.
I don't know, man.
It's too bad, because you'd think it would be such a easy thing. Well, not an easy thing, an easy decision to try to start making possible. Is like that's where the stories happen, right? In these pirate games, where you hop on the ship and you manually grab the treasure chest, you're running around, then you get shot by the dude in the water. Like, it's just, I feel like they completely missed the point of these games. It's weird that they continued to do it, but anyway.
The bit that I'm missing that might, like, it's possible redemption is the trailer that I was playing just then had these scenes with all of these boats shooting like a fortress on the side of the cliffside or whatever. And it did get me thinking, like, I don't know what the kind of multiplayer forced connection side of it is, if you have got team-based things that you can do. Because if there is an end game that I haven't uncovered yet that involves proper, like, squadding's the wrong word for pirates, but getting a little fleet together and actually doing things collaboratively, cooperatively, then it might be that there is something compelling in there that I just haven't seen yet. At the moment, its only pull is like it starts you in this nice ship with all of these cannons, and then it sticks you on a stupid little jetty with someone throwing spears. And it's like, it just lets you know you've got a journey ahead of you. You can get back to having a proper boat and some cannons, and maybe the combat is fun for a while there. But I don't know if it's gonna get hooks in by making me play with other people in a way. Obviously, we were just talking about not liking playing with other people, but get some friends on. If it's got some kind of content that forces that element and gets the community kind of buzzing and thriving, then maybe there's a game there. But if that doesn't naturally happen, if the game doesn't push in that direction, then I'm not sure how long it will last.
Especially after all these games coming in, like freaking all these great community games that popped off, like Helldivers 2 at the moment, and like Pal World. It's like really hard to fucking compete at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Power's a good shout, because Power World, and let's talk about the other element of it. These two games have a common thread. Helldivers and Skull and Bones are both supposed to be service games. They're long-term games. They're not one and done by any stretch. They're supposed to keep going with a tail of content, and by the same token, keep going with a tail of monetization. So there are two things to kind of talk about. And you mentioned Power World there, because Power World stands out as a game that it was made by a small studio that they're not in it for the same reasons. Power World is a massive ongoing game that at the moment doesn't have any kind of monetization or particularly any kind of content delivery plan, apart from the fact that they haven't finished it yet. That's all they've said so far. Like, we haven't finished it yet, so there's more content coming by default until it's finished. Doesn't necessarily have a tail. Both of these games do. Loads of games, most games. Suicide Squad has a massive tail. Darge, do you see, or do you typically find yourself lost in live service games? Do you spend money on them after you buy them?
I don't. Funnily enough, I don't really do big live service games. Like, obviously, I know we're talking about Power World right now, and as far as I'm concerned, you can't actually spend any money in it yet.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had that in, and I'm a fiend for stuff like that. That's why I managed to ban myself from playing FIFA ever again, because that was costing me over £600 a year, like in monetization. But I don't usually get suckered into those sort of games. But this whole live service conversation, like everyone wants your time, don't they? Everyone wants every minute of your time with these games, and there's just too many of them. With Suicide Squad, I still haven't played it yet. I've heard mixed things, I've heard good things, I've heard bad things, but it never sits right with me. Like, when you pay top price for a game, and then they want to, like, say Destiny, even though it's free now, I believe, the base game, but when you did buy it, you pay a load of money on top of it, like a FIFA and stuff like that. Whereas with Fortnite, it's free to play, and then it's cosmetic more than anything. It's not pay to win, I don't really dabble too much in the live service games, to really have a dog in the fight. But it never sits well with me when it's a full price game with monetization on top of it, with pay to win elements involved as well. It's not a good practice for me.
What about you, Gamzly? What's your kind of broad thoughts on monetization of games?
Yeah, they have a huge. Every single live service game has a huge undertaking, because the whole point is to make you a fan, a hardcore fan of that. I've noticed in my own spending habits, what do I spend the most on? I spend most on League of Legends. I spend the most on World of Warcraft, or to, some pet stuff and all that stuff. And I spend the most on like NHL hockey stuff, Yeah, I'm the fucking issue. But and Fortnite, right? Fortnite for some fucking reason I spend money on. I don't even fucking play that game that much. I have no idea why I spend so much money on it. But from what I see from my own habits is that they really have to make me just like a complete fan. They have to grab your attention and make you a fan of that thing and want to make you come back over and over and over again. Even when bigger games come out, even when new live service games come out, they gotta be in your freaking mind, so that when you're done that 1 month of freaking Helldivers 2, you go back to your main game, right? Like, they want to be that main game All of them want to be that freaking main game. I don't know how it's sustainable, but typically, again, I don't like it. But like, if you're free to play like League of Legends and I'm playing fucking 5 days of it and you made me a fan, I'm okay with giving you the money, you know? And that's what I'm doing with League of Legends. I think, my God, I don't even want to see the hours in that game. I have multiple accounts. I've sold accounts. Don't say anybody. Oh my God. Don't say that to anybody. I'm gonna get killed. I have like multiple days, multiple weeks, maybe years in that game. I don't know. So of course I'm gonna give them money. Yeah. Suicide Squad, you know, they have to trend a fine line of like getting you hooked and giving you a little bit of a nostalgia pull and big scope, and games that have the biggest chance to do that, like Pal World, if anything, don't do that, which is like so interesting to me. I don't have an answer here. My wide view is I don't really mind live service games. I don't mind them. I just want you to make a good freaking game, come into making that game just as the best it can be with a, like, maybe the thing is to ignore the model. Maybe the thing is to make a game really fucking good. Okay, companies, make the game really fucking good. And then, you know, you add the nuggets of live service after, when people are actually playing your fucking game and liking your game. Maybe that's a thing you have to do. But yeah, I don't have a problem with live service games as long as they're good. And Asa, man, Asa, I just want good games. That's all I want. I have nothing else to say about fucking
spend
live service.
Anything else on the World of Warcraft live service store. That game's monstrous. I agree. In the way that it's monetized.
I agree. I'm so sad. I buy the pets. I'm a bitch. But see, they got me. It's exactly what I said. They got me with fucking great story and characters I give a fuck about, and they gave me a world that I love. It's so hard, Asa.
You bought the expansion.
It's so
you pay them
hard.
a monthly subscription.
It's hard. Actually, I sell gold
with a vengeance.
I don't even buy. I buy with gold now. I just get the subscription through gold. You know.
You should think more about the FIFA players, Asa. They're the worst. They're the worst offenders, because EA bring a new title out every year religiously, and they're pumping hundreds, and they don't give you nothing
it's crazy.
for that.
Yeah, and they wipe it out.
And they literally, I've said for ages, if they did the decent thing, which they're not going to do because it doesn't make them the money they make, like, make it free to play FIFA with squad updates and keep the Ultimate Team as its own entity, like free to play. But they ain't going to do that. Like, every year they print. I mean, they've dropped to not bore everyone with the soccer scene, but they just dropped FIFA branding for the game, went to everyone else direct, brought out their own game, so they're not even paying for the FIFA license anymore. So now they're just taking all the money. Like, and people, that game will live on longer.
They very much wanted FIFA. FIFA said no because FIFA are just as greedy as EA, and they wanted more people to be able to use the license.
Yeah,
I think FIFA wanted
Asa.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry.
It's just money.
But there's a legal case going on at the moment. I think it's 2K around their basketball games, where people were trying to sue them because they take certain basketball games off the market, and they're like, well, we've got virtual currency in this game, so you just deleted it, give us a refund. And they're saying, setting a precedent in law that virtual currencies are works of fiction and have no value. If people put money on them, it's their own problem, and we're not giving them a refund. And they're like, virtual currencies are just, it's a sad part, like a bit of an indictment on the way that gaming has gone. But for me, I'm not actually necessarily against microtransactions and the live service model and all the rest of it. It's just, it's such a delicate line to walk in a way that's fair and right, because I'm not thinking that development studios have to continually pump content into a game that doesn't make any money after it's been sold. Like, if you sell it day one for your 70 quid or whatever, you're not going to get content added to that game without some kind of like ongoing revenue, because that's just the way the world works. They can't sustain it. But you get so many cases, so many games that don't need to be engineered to be a live service game. So many like corporate suits that are doing exactly what you're saying they're doing, Gamzly, where they're trying to make sure that this game is the one that you always go back to, that hooks you in with its daily quests and login streaks and all of this manipulative, sinister bullshit to make sure you keep going back to this game to keep on spending money on it, rather than just having a good thing and finding a fair relationship with the consumer.
How do you have any ideas on what's a fair thing in your mind? What would they have to do to make it fair?
That's a good question. And what games have done it well? So I used to play a game called Asheron's Call 2, an MMO RPG that had a subscription rate before subscriptions were popular or accepted. And for my like £9 a month or whatever it was, there was a content drop every month. So it was a very direct, like, this is what you're getting for your payment kind of relationship that made a lot of sense. You can't do that very viably. You can't have a whole load of games charge their own subscription fees because they just will not find an audience. Final Fantasy does it and World of Warcraft does it, but they've kind of got that.
Yeah, those are massive fan players.
Down.
Those are massive fanfares. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most things are live service now. You got like obviously Forza and Halo and those kinds of things are live service. Battle passes are the popular method of monetization because they kill two birds with one stone. They take money in and they incentivize people to keep on coming back. They do both. They're like, we'll take your money and we'll make you come back every single day and give us more money. I'm not a massive fan of the battle pass.
You think Fortnite does it?
It's not the worst. Fortnite absolutely daily challenges everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Their daily challenges. Well, are you saying yes, it's okay for Fortnite, or does Fortnite do it well to you? Do you think they do it well?
I'm not a Fortnite
because
player,
they do the
what kind of stuff they offer.
Fortnite's biggest the biggest thing with Fortnite, why it does so well, is usually the licensing that it does with the partnerships. You know, the skins. You know, there's always Marvel, you know, or something. They'll put that, and that is the thing that I remember Fortnite when it first came out. And they started that, and then there were certain Premier League football clubs, like soccer sides over here, and certain clubs had their kits. And I hadn't touched Fortnite for ages, and it was like, oh, you could get the West Ham kit. And I just went, I've got to boot the game up, because that's all, these games, all they care about is you actually logging into the game. They want you to come into the game so that they can dangle the carrot, because they know games like that are addictive. Yeah, and all of a sudden, like you say, Gamzly, with League of Legends, I never played it, but I can imagine once you go, oh, I'm only going to do one game, or I'm only going to do a couple, or I've only got half hour, and then the next thing you know, you go, fucking, I've been on that for 2 hours, or saying, because that's what they want. They want you to keep coming back. You know, and what Fortnite, like I say, I ain't really played it. I played it. I played it not too long ago when they did the full, what was it, the UE5 point
update?
2? Yeah, there was like a big update, and they did, and I went back to that, and it looks great and all that. And the battle pass, I ended up buying the battle pass. Like, and I only gone back to look at how much better it looked, and I went up whatever it was, you know, like if it was £6-7 or whatever it was, I was like, oh fuck it, I'll do that because I'm playing this for a bit, and then I dropped it like a couple of days later, and they don't care if you do the whole battle. There are people who will sweat the life out of that battle pass and get every single penny of their money out of it. But let's get real, 90% of us probably pay that fee, get 10, 15, 20 levels in and go, you're playing something else, you know, and they're still getting their money, you know.
I think, like, if anything, they got a little bit egregious, but like, man, how can it's kind of hard to shit on that one, right? Because if you do complete your battle pass, you do get your money back for the next battle pass, right? They dangle the stick very well where you really do get a lot of content out, or a lot of cosmetics, but then they give you the free concerts, they give you the free events, they give you like those. Like, you could see the money going back to that game. You really can. It's almost like World of Warcraft, right? The money that you see go in your monthly subscription will get you that. Everybody will get that big expansion or whatever, even though they fuck you on that because it's a full charge, right? It's $49 for the expansion. But anyway, point is, Fortnite doesn't do that. It's like, here's this free update. Here are these game modes. Here's live concerts. Here are every nostalgic, lovely character you can own. Bam. Here are little tidbits of those universes interacting with each other. It's like, man, you do see the money kind of going back in it. They have updates of the engine every fucking so often. You see the visual upgrades. It's like, that one's like in the middle with me where I'm like, it's getting a little much, but also I can't really argue with it because they're really swarming you with like, they're really giving you a lot of content really quickly, but it's really hard for any company to do that, right? Imagine if you're like a new company trying to get into this. It's like, fuck, Halo couldn't even do that stuff. But anyway.
It's also so you're right that the balance of like what you're expected to spend and the amount of content that they give you, like obviously they're given, there's no live service game that updates as frequently and as broadly as Fortnite does. At the same time, it's full of dark patterns and targets children. So I don't want to entirely heap on like praise for them doing everything right, because they do have all kinds of issues with getting children addicted to spending money on all kinds of things.
Big time.
Which, like there's a lot that Fortnite does well, and there is no other company that can deliver content with the kind of frequency and scope that they do. So props for that. Less props for giving daily login quests to children who are not equipped to resist that kind of thing. Like dark patterns are very effective on children, and episode 13.
And me.
And Darge.
I've had all of us.
All of us get caught. We're just
yeah.
Asa, you know what? Before we move on from this topic, what's the latest live service that kind of caught you? Like, do you get caught by some of this stuff, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that I do. Like I say, I'm not entirely against it in concept. I'm happy to pay for things that I enjoy. I want developers to be able to deliver content into a game that I love. And if you do find a game that you love and you want it to carry on, then that's the kind of developer-consumer relationship you want to see work. In terms of particular examples, though, I mean, I'm going back to Halo still, a couple of years after launch. I don't think its live service is done particularly well, and I don't think I've spent a penny on it. So you'd possibly consider that like a failing relationship from their end, because I have not bought any battle passes. I don't care for their cosmetics, but they haven't done anything to like hurt my feelings either. I don't feel like they're manipulative. Or
have you purchased anything from a live service game within the last like 5 years?
Yeah, definitely, but my head is full of snot and I can't think right now.
They got that. They're just cutting in quickly. Like, I think we need to. I know what you're saying there about Fortnite, and you are right about young kids, and they will get hooked. Yeah, I think we all have to just agree that the main offender when it comes to live service games are the as far I've never played it, but the NBA 2K series, the FIFA series with the gambling mechanics. Yeah, the ones who, it don't matter who you are, if you're a kid with your dad's fucking credit card, or if you're a 38-year-old roofer with your own money and income, if you've got an addiction to something, and these games are like putting out these, like FIFA do it all the time, like every other week it's like, oh, the something special card, and then everyone goes, oh, I've got to get it, and they're like, as a live service goes, they're the things. Even if that game was free to play, I'd still think that's a dog move. You know what I mean? And that's the opposite to pay to win. Pay to win is someone that's offering you can buy something like Diablo, for example. You can buy something and know what you're going to get from it. You know, if it's the EA the sports games models of open this pack, you might get something.
Like loot boxes.
There's no one's going to defend that. No one's going to defend them. And like you say, Asa, with the Fortnites and that, obviously they can get addicted to it that way as well with the V-Buck. I mean, I've got a 13-year-old daughter, and she's like me. She'll play that for 5 minutes and then not touch it for a couple of months. And then when she does touch it again, Dad, can I get V-Bucks? Like, and she's only just gone back to it. Like, they know what they're doing and that, but at least if she goes, I want an outfit for my character, I go, all right then. Whereas if she goes to me, oh, if you give me 2,000 V-Bucks, I can open these packs because I really want to try and get this cat. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just, there's no defending
the older model.
You know,
that was like their. That was there like 5 years ago. It's a good thing that gamers really start to shit on that model. The loot boxes and
the Belgian
stuff.
government, yeah, became illegal in some countries, which made it much more tricky to implement. Yeah, the other one that gets me, I've got a 12-year-old, and he does the Robux. I ask him what he wants for. Like, why do you want to buy these Robux? What are you going to get for it? And he'll tell me it's Roblox Premium that will let him like level up faster in a game that he's played. And I hate that so much. Like. Yeah. Pay to progress faster, like the most literal terms, and children see that and it's just like, yeah, this is what I want to level up faster. It's gross, and it's really hard to like make them understand how gross that is. If I see that, I'll go and play something else, but it's not the way their minds work. Tom never bought a loot box or a cosmetic item in anything. What have you bought cosmetics in, Darge?
I'll buy it in anything. Right, I'm Carnage. Like I say, Warzone or Modern Warfare 3. Like Call of Duty, since Modern Warfare 2019, which was the last, in my opinion, it was the last good one, but I never played Vanguard or all these other ones after. But then I'm a big sufferer of FOMO. So then it's like, oh, MW3's coming, it's going to be sick. And then I'm like, getting the fucking all singing, all dancing edition on Blizzard, and it's like £100 or whatever it is. And then I'm enrolling in the battle pass, and then I'm not playing. And then I go, oh shit, and I'm not playing it. And then when I think about it, I think, fucking hell, that one game has probably took £150 to £200 off of me in cosmetic skins for a gun that I'm not using anymore. Do you know what I mean? But that's just my head. That's how my head works. If I see something shiny, I'm like a magpie. I'm like, well, I've got to have that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I could drop the game the next day and go, have a rage quit in a game and go, I'm fucking done with this game after I just spent £50 on a skin. You know what I mean? But that's how I work, you know?
What about you, Gamzly?
I feel you. Don't talk to me about this. Nothing. I buy nothing.
Are there any games that you've stopped playing because the monetization was so off-putting?
Yeah, no. I got caught in the, like, Darge. I got caught in the NHL stuff. Like, I got caught in the all-star team kind of open packs, build your little team, and then go rock online with them. I got caught in that, and then, but only for a year. Like, that year, I think it was NHL... Oh my god, 2022 or something. I don't remember, but I really got hooked that year because obviously I think it was still pandemic was happening. I got hooked on that, and then I spent way too much, and then boom, all of that is gone the next year, and you're like, well, fuck. You know? So I really felt screwed by that, and I was like, why am I doing this? I'll just freaking play the normal mode with my friends and have just as much fun. I don't know why I'm doing this. It really did shift my mindset really quickly, and but kids don't have that critical thinking yet, so it's really fucking gross. But anyway, yeah, NHL 20 something.
World of Warcraft for me. I used to play that all the time, and then they introduced. I freaking hate the shop in it. That game has no right to have a shop at all. I paid for the game and the expansion, and I subscribe. Why is there a shop? Get the fuck out of my face. And then multiple like consecutive years, I go, oh, I quite fancy some World of Warcraft, and they'll send me these emails saying like, is this current expansion? Come and have a look. It's on sale. And then I'll click the shop on the little Blizzard launcher to see like what this sale is. And it'll say the game's on a bit of a sale, but also you can get a half price character realm transfer. You can get this pet for half price, and I'm just reminded that there's this disgusting store in World of Warcraft. Yeah, and I'm a fool because I do actually have it at the moment. I did eventually succumb and get back on it. But,
you fucker!
But they lost me for like 3 years, and I still freaking hate that store. So What about you, people in chat? Are there any games that have been so badly monetized that you couldn't play what would otherwise have been a fun game? And while you're thinking about that, let's move on to the questions and start rounding this thing off. I know that's a little bit short, but the questions sometimes take quite a while, depending on how many there are. If you have any questions that you need answered, we're going to get through a bunch of those. We're starting with the first one, which is from Saitama, who's in our Discord, has changed YouTube name today, I'm assuming, has asked, what was the worst game or biggest disappointment that you've ever spent money on? I think we had this question, or very similar, last week, but Darge, worst game, biggest disappointment is Anthem, isn't it?
It is Anthem. It'll always be
sorry
Anthem.
For my sorry if somebody's talking. My sound isn't working. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry, Darge.
That's all right. It was just the same answer as last week. It's Anthem. It was Anthem. Anthem had one of the best hype trailers and lead up for that game ever, and BioWare. And you know, I wasn't the biggest Mass Effect fan, as said on Game On before. I wasn't a fan of the games. I just hadn't really played them, but I knew the strength of BioWare. And they were selling me this dream and everything, and then paid. I swear I paid that game. Was that game £70, or did I imagine that? Was that not $70 back then? Or
can't remember.
I feel like I paid. Well, anyway, whatever I paid, it was full AAA price, and you
got a deluxe 3-day early access, get an extra skin edition.
Yeah, and then so I got it, and then what's the? Oh, there's some policy on Xbox when
so shady. How did you get 1,400 hours into Anthem? There wasn't that much content in there.
Shady did like it though. I remember he played it, but I think was it 2 hours on Xbox. If you played over 2 hours, then you couldn't refund, didn't it, or whatever it was. I ended up just going over that, so I couldn't refund it. And yeah, that one stung bad. But Anthem always.
What about you, Gamzly? Biggest disappointment of a game?
I'm back. All right. You could hear me fine, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I couldn't hear anything for like 5 minutes for some reason. Okay. Something that I was the worst game. Shit. You said Anthem. Anthem is such a good thing. It was a disappointment, but really fun at the same time. Let's see. I'm
what are you thinking? Because you
maybe hate this. I got it. I did buy. If you look here, I did buy the Starfield.
Oh, you're not going to say it.
Edition.
Don't say that.
Surely not.
Here we go.
Episode 13, baby, sit down.
Sit down, buddy. I did buy it, and I played it on, like, I got it because FOMO, and I wanted to play a little earlier, and I didn't want, I really truly do love Bethesda, and I love everything that they make, so I bought it, I caved in, I like the watch, I'm a watch person. Spoiler alert, if you're listening, I have a watch collection. I'm a big watch guy. So it was for me, right? Let's get this thing. So I got it. And I played it. I beat it once. Loved, like, it grabbed me from beginning to end. I liked it. But I just couldn't help but think, fuck, there's something missing here, and I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know what was missing. I still don't know what's missing, but that whole game, I was like, man, I like it. I'm enjoying it. It hooks me. The characters are pretty cool. The quest design is cool. Everything's clicking there, but just there's something there's a void here. So I'm gonna say Starfield recently.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that. Bear with me one moment. So mine, last time we had this question, I said mine was too human on the Xbox 360 because the Xbox 360 had like cracking game after game after game with Oblivion and Bioshock and Mass Effect and Halo, and like everything was gold that came out in the first year or so of that console. And Too Human looked like it was going to be gold. and then it had all kinds of issues, legal issues between Silicon Knights and Epic, and what actually came out was a little bit of a disaster. But I'm going to switch it around and go for the PlayStation equivalent, which was Leia. Leia was supposed to be the savior of the PlayStation 3 when it came out. It was supposed to be better than any game that had ever been to market, because the PlayStation 3 was supposed to be better than every console that had ever been to market, every bit of hardware. And then Leia turned out to be kind of terrible. So I'm going to go with Leia this week. Last week it was Too Human. If we get the question again next week, I'll think of another one just to keep it fresh and spicy. But let me just get this tweet going. Gamzly just called Starfield the most disappointing game ever. I can't type disappointing game ever. Shock face, tweet, post. Okay. That's done.
I'm gonna get murdered. You know why? Hold on. Fuckers. That question fucked me because it's the biggest disappointment ever. Oops. Emphasis on ever. That I didn't mean ever. I just meant recently. But okay, now reading it back, maybe that's a dumb fucking answer, but it was still a disappointment, so I stand my square on disappointment.
Yeah, it's raw in your mind as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Not
ever. Ever. No, definitely not.
We won't tell Boomstick and that.
Shut up, Asa.
No. Right, Purple Tree Frog has asked, if you could have your dream game made based on an existing IP, what would it be and who would you have make it? So an IP that's not already a game, like a TV, film, other medium IP, made into your dream game, what would it be and who would make it? Darge?
Can't think. I don't really watch a lot. I don't. So it's not a game. So it's not an already established game.
No,
it's something
you like on TV or whatever. Yeah. You got any Gamzly?
I'll let you go.
I'm still laughing at the fucking chat. They're murdering me. It's just calling me out. Fuck you guys, all right? I don't need to explain myself. I'm Canadian. I can't read. Anyways, I can't read English. So, I would say, for sure, dream game. I want a Halo. I want a Halo game made by like, huh?
I think Halo's already a game. I could be wrong, but
oh, what is that? No. Oh, wait, hold on. If you could, oh fuck! Oh, that is as hard as Dark. No, Asa, you go.
I don't really watch TV very much or do the old films and stuff. I'm trying to think of something that's good that hasn't already had a game adaptation. That's actually a really difficult question.
Yeah, because the problem is, like, if it's a film or something that you've seen, you already got the story, right? So then if you put that into a video game, like a TV show that I used to like back in the day with Sean Raff, who's in the chat, was Lost. Like, we used to like that back in the day. It was a good story and stuff like that. But you make that a video, I can get the fucking coalition to make that and make it look all beautiful, but I still know the outcome. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a weird question. I don't know. Maybe
cheating and scroll in the chat. See if anyone's got
oh my god! You know what? No, I'll go with one. This is recency bias again, but how about The Boys?
Oh, yeah.
Made by
Good. That's our answer collectively. Everyone wants that.
The Boys, made by Machine Games.
Not sure about Machine Games for it. They do authenticity, so maybe, but. The Boys is a good answer.
I would love it. Yeah, it's they make really brutal stuff, man. The Boys it's right up there.
Oh yeah, look, I've never watched that either. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of telly. But Dick Wingbat said about Peaky Blinders. I've heard that's a good TV show, but I haven't watched it. And then Isla said a good one as well. Oh no, Baz, sorry, Crypt Keeper. He said about like a Chucky game or something like that. But it's just like, you know, all the
god, a Chucky game by the studio that makes that. Yeah, what's that fucking weird game that always shows up with the freaking mascots. What the hell?
Bad Robot? No.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's like in a festival. What is it called? God damn it, chat, help me out. It's like this Killing Floor. Is it Killing Floor? Is that what it's called?
Oh, Killing Floor is a game. Yeah.
So what if like Chucky's made by that fucking studio? That would be fun.
I think Sean Raff probably wins. He's just put a Game of Thrones spin-off made by From Software. He's probably won. Even though I'm not a From, he knows I'm not a From Software player, but I can imagine that get a few people's nipples hard. You know what I mean?
From would miss that though,
that
right?
Would be crazy.
Because Game of Thrones was all character-driven, like political stuff, and From games are just empty, and you figure out what's happening yourself.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
I'm not sure. I'm not saying that as a criticism, but it's like you don't have characters that talk particularly, do you, in a From game? So it'll be a strange combo for me, that one. But
they might branch out.
Pick something, you coward. My Little Pony. From Bethesda Game Studios?
No, we've got Goonies from Naughty Dog and Rare cross collaboration as well. That's a good shout. Yeah, I don't know. The Boys is a good one. I've not got the studio in mind. Somebody that has the same kind of sense of humor, though. They must exist. I gave the. It's a good question, but Frog.
Oh, people can fly with The Boys.
I don't know who got the code. I think it was Wayne, but he hasn't confirmed. If someone's got the code for Helldivers 2, can you just let me know in chat? Please. Sorry.
I didn't see. Did you just put it in chat? Yeah, whoever's claiming it, let us know. Thank you, Darge, for sharing that with everyone. Oh, yeah, I see it there. I'm going to go claim it. Episode 13 has asked, why is Asa very fussy? With games, of course. Or is it the same for food? Do you think that Xbox really needs to make a handheld? If it's not going to be better than the Steam Deck, is there any point? So, multiple questions in there. Why am I very fussy? Episode 13, I'm very fussy with games because there are so many games to play. The market is super oversaturated at the moment, which means I can afford to ignore Brotato. There is a lot of good stuff to play. And actually, if Brotato was the only game to come out this year, I would play it and I would enjoy it. I'm not actually fussy, but there is a lot to play, and there is you got to choose, haven't you? You've not got enough time to play everything, so that's why I'm fussy. Am I the same with food?
Fucking Thieves, and fucking the
I'd
pirate
definitely play
game.
Sea of Thieves over Brotato. Abso-fucking-lutely, yes. If you want to play Sea of Thieves with me, I'm on it. You would play Sea of Thieves over Brotato as well.
I mixed it up with this stupid game coming out by Ubisoft. What was it called?
Skull and Bones.
I can't play.
Fuck.
I can't play any game with you anymore where there's exploding barrels or something around. You know what it's
we had good times on CFPs,
yeah. Alien Fire Team, I'm like shaking, staring down the alleyway, and then there was a big explosion, and it was you fucking shooting a barrel next to me. Yeah, my nerves are shot as it is, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so do you really think that Xbox needs to make a handheld? And is it going to be, or if it's not going to be better than the Steam Deck, is there any point? So there's lots of rumors going around at the moment that Xbox are looking at a handheld. Let's just do this one nice and quickly, I suppose. Darge, would you buy an Xbox handheld?
I don't think they should do it. I think
why not?
There's the third party options there. They can maybe lean on that and do it that way. If they want to do their own, I mean, they just don't, like Microsoft, Xbox ain't that type, are they? Do you know what I mean? They haven't done the VR. They'll be the last to do it. What they do is they fucking wait for ages. Yeah, and then when Sony bring their PSP, the next coming of that, when they bring that to market, that'll be the time, and they'll dither on it, like the VR space. They just don't, I can't see them doing it. I think they'd rather leverage all the third-party stuff with the Asus and Lenovo and Steam Deck and try and do what they can. Obviously, they ain't doing much with the Steam Deck, but with the others, they'd try and get Game Pass on it or something like that. You know what I mean? As opposed to creating their own hardware, you know? I think they've got bigger problems as well at the minute to worry about.
But if they did one, you would buy it, wouldn't you? Like if they do a handheld Darge, you'll buy it day one, won't you?
I'm not the old Darge Knight, Asa. I wouldn't buy anything with an Xbox sticker.
He's gonna
on
fucking do it. He's gonna do it. Look at that face.
Watch this play out.
Smile.
I would wait for
Look at that smile.
I'd wait for the next Steam Deck. I reckon probably. Like, I'm an ecosystem slag. I'm on the Steam now. I'm the Steam guy. Mm-hmm. So that's where you'll find me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fair enough. What about you, Gamzly? Xbox
handheld? Yes, I would buy one. Look, I got a ton of little gadgets. I'm a gadget person. I love new hardware. Yes. Quick answer. Yeah, you're right, Darge. They usually are the let others speak for us kind of thing, and yeah, Sony, you go do that thing first, and yeah, Switch, you go do that thing first, but then they have a fucking nightmare of a time to gain market share for some reason. Yeah, because you're fucking too late. People attach themselves with Steam Decks, people attach themselves to Switches, people have PlayStation portables that they associate with PlayStation, that it's kicking your ass in your main console. It's like, no, get in the fucking game right now, man. It's popping right now. Make a better one, make the best one on the market, and fucking put your foot down. But yeah, I'm in that mind. Scorched earth, get in there, do it properly before it's too late.
So for me, I don't care for handheld devices. I don't have a Steam Deck. I don't play games on my phone. I do have a Switch, but I'd never use it in portable mode. So personally, very selfishly, I hope that they don't do it, because it would represent like the floor, the lowest common denominator for the games that they're making. But I'm not actually that selfish. If they did make one, I wouldn't begrudge them. There is an opportunity there. They could make a handheld that has their then you're buying games through Microsoft, through the Xbox store by default, rather than getting an Asus or something like that and having Steam as an option. So Microsoft's motivation would be fairly clear and concise. Like, we don't want you buying games on Steam, we want you buying them on Xbox. And essentially that's what an Xbox handheld would do for them. So I can see it as a thing that they'd be looking at, because these things are successful. The Switch has been massively successful, and all of these other devices have kind of gone against the odds and seen some success that probably wasn't anticipated. Microsoft are going to follow a trend if they can see one, I suppose. But it won't do anything for me. Next question is... so Ira said congrats to Wayne for getting the code. He did say thank you like 10 times. So Wayne's got that. That's actually awesome. So Wayne's on our Discord, which means it'll be very easy for us to hook up and play some Helldivers. Get it installed, Wayne.
If I could clap, I would clap. But I can't.
Sorry.
Yeah, you
it has to be one hand joke per episode.
Yeah. Tony has asked, why do you buy single player games day one / pre-order? What's your next day one? Tony, I buy single player games early because I do podcasts and things, and it would be weird not to be able to talk about them. If I weren't doing content like this, I would try and hold off on the day one games. But to answer your other question on which one's next, I very, very, very rarely buy day one single player games, but I'm going to buy day one Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Dragon's Dogma 2. That's two in quite quick succession. That the pull is just too strong. They're too big a deal, too big, those games. I think I have to get them straight away. Gamzly, do you buy single player games day one normally?
Yes. The last one I bought was, oh boy, Spider-Man 2. Oh boy. But anyways, I dropped that pretty quickly.
Let me just add this onto the Starfield tweet. 1 second.
Don't do that. Hey, we're on a gaming podcast. God damn it. Yeah, that's the last one I think I bought.
Did you like it?
No, I dropped it pretty quickly. More on that later. Maybe one day. What's my next day one? I gotta be with Asa. I gotta go Final Fantasy. That shit's just too hard. Like, I played 16, loved it. Everybody thinks I hate that game, but I actually love it. It's just not a very good Final Fantasy game to me, and I'm not gonna get into that fucking debate. So yeah, I love all the Final Fantasy games. I've played basically all of them. So yeah, Final Fantasy is my next one. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Steam Deck. Haha, shout out to the Steam Deck. And that's where I completed that baby. What a hell of a game and great combat. That's Final Fantasy combat done right, and Rebirth looks like they're extending that. So that's my answer.
Yeah. I don't think Square Enix know how to make a good Final Fantasy game. They totally lucked out and nailed it with Final Fantasy VII Remake for me. So
100%.
Also, you know that the spoilers are going to go all over the place. So you kind of need to get on that one before it's too late. Darge, what about you?
That's what I was going to say. I think, with the question saying, do you buy single player games day one? I think The Last of Us Part 2 made us all aware of the need to do it straight away, because the internet is, regardless of that game and the controversy and everything else, like, there's a spoil culture around now. Spider-Man 2 was another one that I see bits of. Obviously, I get it's the console warring that's going on, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is it's there, so... I don't know. I'll probably like Helldivers, and I bought it the day after, so it's not technically day one, but it's straight away. It's probably the last one I bought. The next one is probably, because I didn't get Suicide Squad day one. That was going to be. It's probably going to be Dragon's Dogma 2 for me. Even though I fucked around with the first one on Steam a month or two ago. And I ain't got like a vast knowledge of it. I'll have that game day one and just dive into it because it looks sick.
It looks incredible. It also has it's a single player game, but it does have an intrinsic online community element as well with the way that its pawns work. So that's a good excuse to have to pick that one up straight away.
Yeah, that game is gonna be. I think that's already in the game of the year without it even coming out. I think that'll already be in the game of the year. Like, it'll be everywhere when the awards.
Hope so, man.
When the awards come up and the Keeleys or whatever, the VGA or whatever the fuck they're called. When they come up, that'll be up for a few things. Like, I think that's just going to be an excellent game this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
quick question while we get the next one up.
Yeah, go for it.
Quick question before we go to the next one. Do we think we finally see an Xbox game in the VGAs? Hellblade, Indiana Jones, Avowed. One of those fucking things going to be there?
One of those will be
in there. What, for game of the year? What, for the main prize?
Yeah, for the main one.
Not necessarily winning it, but nominated in the 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hellblade, I think Senua's Saga. Is it Senua's Saga? Yeah, it is Saga, isn't it? This one. It's not Sacrifice. Yeah, no. It should be, because, I mean, I say it should be, but like the stuff that they're showing you in that is a little bit, I think it will be.
I hope so. I hope so, man. It would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be like Avowed as well. Didn't they give like a vague release date for it? Was it
2024?
Like fall?
Yeah, this year.
Yeah, I think Indiana Jones was just 2024, wasn't it? And I think, did they say Avowed was like fall 24?
Yeah, and Hellblade's
I'm pretty sure it's something like that. But you never know. They may get pushed out. They may get pushed out of this year, and Xbox might only end up with Towerborn, Hellblade.
Yeah.
And Ara History Untold. That's another one that I'm really looking forward to as well.
Oh, man, I'm so down. Oh, man, I'm so down for that game.
Yeah, that's going to tickle my civilization itch badly.
Yeah.
Right. Let's do this next question from episode 13. He's asked before in the Discord, but what's your favourite Dreamcast game? So, do you have a favourite Dreamcast game, Darge? Did you play the Dreamcast?
Oh, mate, I had pals who had it. I didn't own it, but the games that I remember playing was Crazy Taxi and Ready to Rumble. I think they may have been like early shipped games. You remember that Afro Thunder guy with the afro, sort of boxing and that? Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, didn't play it. And obviously Sonic Adventure. I remember there being a UFC game as well on the Dreamcast right back in the day. But yeah, I never owned one. But yeah, games like that I remember those.
By you, Gamzly?
Oh Oh God.
There's so many actually. For such a small, like, short-lived console, there are so many good games.
There's so.
Let me help you with a few.
Was there
Quake 3 Arena, Phantasy Star Online, Skies of Arcadia, Power Stone 2. Those were awesome.
Oh my God, Power Stone. Oh yes, thank you for reminding me about Power Stone. Power Stone's amazing. Power Stone it is, baby. Let's go.
Power Stone is a favorite.
Also,
I had a
was there a Marvel versus Capcom on there?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy. That was crazy.
I love good that. Shout sides, yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, so many good games for the Dreamcast, but such a short-lived console. It's no wonder it's got like.
Yeah, they really pushed that console too. That was like their Hail Mary. It's too bad.
They had a fair lack of third-party support as well. Like, obviously, Power Stone was Capcom, and a few of these other were third-party, but the big ones like EA that had their massive IPs kind of stuck the nail in the coffin for the Dreamcast. But still, yeah, loads of phenomenal games there. Good console. Next question, please. We'll just do 2 more questions, if there are 2 more questions, and then we'll head off. So, Painful Discourse has asked, is me playing Vampire... Excuse me. Dying. See me playing Vampire. Is it any good? It's on sale now on Xbox. He's just looking for some options before you buy. I think it's awesome so far. Quite different in tone to many other games. It's a Don't Nod game, so they've just released the Banishers Ghosts of something or other this week as well.
New Eden,
yeah. Vampire's just like, it's the combat's fairly clunky and janky. Nothing about it is particularly like well polished. I'm playing on the PC, so it looks quite pretty, but it's just got a nice little vibe. The voice acting is a little bit like weird, and yet the choices that it presents, like, do you want to eat that person? Yeah. I like it so far. But Gamzly, you're shaking your head. Do you not like Vampire?
Fucking Vampire.
Has it got too much words? Do you need a super rotator? Is it too many buttons?
Look at this fucking guy. Vampire's amazing, but I hate potato. Listen, Brotato's better than Vampire. All right, I said it. Next.
It's really not. That's freaking outrageous. Next. I can't believe you'd say something so absurd.
Next. Right. And you know what? Brotato's better than Starfield. Anyways.
I've never played Vampire. Sell it to me, Asa.
So I was sold it by ACG actually, because over there they talk about it all the time.
Yeah, because I know they rate
all love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is very different to anything else that I've played. I don't really know what to say about it. It's a Don't Nod game, so they made like Life is Strange and Remember Me and stuff like that. It's third person, over the shoulder. You're a post World War II English doctor turned vampire, running around London doing weird gothic things and deciding who you want to eat and who you don't.
That's why London.
Oh my God, in London. When you say yeah, it's the best place. When you say Don't Nod and Life is Strange, it's not like that though. It's free roaming. Or is it like
more free roaming, and it has some combat in, so it's not exactly the same in terms of like the way that Life is Strange is delivered, but you can get the same kind of...
those still frame choice things and stuff like that.
No, not so much in the same way, but it's more that it definitely presents you choices along the way that have like significant consequences as you go through. Like, it's got a big play on like I only know this because it tells you when you're selecting the difficulty, but you'll get a different ending if you choose not to eat any of the civilians. The whole thing that it's got as its vibe or like quirk is you level up as you would in an RPG. In this game, you'll level up dramatically more and faster if you eat innocent civilians.
Right.
So you've got that choice of like opting for power or being a nice player, and you'll get civilians that are like, oh, I want to die anyway, like please bite me or whatever. And you have to make those choices as you go. And depending on how much you converse with them, the people that you can eat will be worth more if you've like uncovered a bit more information about them and helped them out with their problems. So you can like help them get to a more healthy situation in their own life and then eat them, and you'll get more power out of it. So it's a weird way of cultivating the experience and leveling up. Gamzly hates it.
I'll help you, Darge. I'll tell you, I'll help you out, Darge. On the list of painfully average RPGs that you can pay for and that are not in Game Pass. Yeah, that's on top of the fucking list, all right? Just skip it, go to the next one, all right? Go play some fucking Dragon Dogma or some fucking Cyberpunk or something. Save your money, Darge, all right? Don't listen to Asa.
This is fair, though. There are an awful lot of games to play, so if you fancy something else, like episode 13 says, I'm very fussy because there are an awful lot of games to play. Vampire is, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to play it some more.
Yeah.
We'll see if I still like it after I've played more than like 3 hours, but good so far. Alex
10 minutes.
has asked
3 minutes.
Is it dag or dog? Depends what you're saying, Alex. If you're saying dog, then it's dog. I don't think we need to pass that particular question around. So Patrick has said, fuck, marry or kill the Elden Beast, the Brood Mother from Outriders, the Congregator of Flesh from Lords of the Fallen. Images have been attached to the Discord for reference. I can't look at that, so unfortunately I'm going to have to see myself out of that question and let Darge and Gamzly have a look at this. They can answer. The Elden Beast, the Brood Mother, and the Congregator of Flesh.
I owe all 3 of them games, and I haven't seen any of them because I haven't started Lords of the Fallen. I'm assuming the Elden Beast is from Elden Ring, which I'll probably put about 3 hours in and put that down. And Outriders, Asa, as you fully well know, I didn't finish that game.
You didn't, you abandoned me.
Whatever order Patrick wants them in is my order. Is that a good enough answer for you, Patrick?
That's an outrageously underwhelming answer.
I don't know any of them. Is that fucking... In the order that you've listed them, Patrick.
To be fair, Patrick, I don't really know how we're supposed to answer that one, but
I got you.
Gamzly's got the answers.
You can answer that? All right. The Elden Beast is gonna get my Mary, right? Like, I mean, it has to be. The Elden Beast is getting my Mary. The fuck is the Brood Mother, and the kill has to be the Lords of the Fallen one. Yeah. There you go. Easy peasy.
So I'm going to go with the opposite of Gamzly because this is going to be like Brotato all over again. So just reverse that order and that's my answer.
God damn it.
Right. I think on that note, I'm sorry, Patrick. I didn't know how to answer that. Because I did,
Patrick. I got you.
So
I got you, Patrick. you do know, Patrick, that I chose the right order because the Elden Beast is probably the strongest out of all of them. You want to keep that bitch next to you at all times. You know what I mean? The other one has some sort of humanoid form, so that'll be a good fuck if you want that. And then kill the Lords of the Fallen motherfucker at all costs because that guy is an ugly piece of shit. Anyways, next.
There is no next. That was all the questions for today. So, also, you need to go pretty soon. So, let's finish it up there. Yes. From me, thank you, everyone, for coming through again. It is always a good time. I'm glad you're all here to talk and listen to us. Darge, tell people what you're up to, what you're playing, what's going on in the Discord.
I'm gonna hopefully get on some Helldivers too with probably Wayne. Now he's got the game.
Yes.
And yourself, Asa, if you want to do it. You playing it on Steam? You on Steam?
I'm on the PlayStation at the moment.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
But it's crossplay. That's all right. That works.
Option. Yeah. Like Outriders work.
Just my game will be a bit more blurry than yours. That's all.
Well, anyway. Regardless of that, so play a bit of that. I do want to get back to Death Stranding because, I know me. If I don't get back to it soon enough, I'll never go back to it. I want to get back to that. Skull and Bones, I've still got that Ubisoft. So, are you going to play Skull and Bones for a bit? I guess, or hope.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm definitely playing that one because,
let me know. But anyway, carry on with a bit of Helldiving and a little bit of Death Stranding for me. And thanks everyone for coming again, and I'll see you all next week.
Brilliant. Gamzly, you're obviously back here on Thursday, but what else you got going on?
Yes, sir. Every Monday I do Boom's show, the lunch special, Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And meanwhile, I'll be playing good games like Brotato. And I'm going to be continuing my onslaught of zombies in Resident Evil because I like playing good games. And I'm going to stay the fuck away from whatever you guys are playing because those are bad games. Until next time.
I'm with you on Resident Evil. That is a good game. I don't know.
Great game.
Don't know how many times I can go over Potato again, but yeah, he's doing wave after wave of Potato running around the brown fucking lawn or whatever it is.
You can follow me on.
Speaking of Thursday,
Twitter as well.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. Speaking of Thursday, obviously Xbox have come and announced that they're doing their big podcast at the same time as our show normally starts. We will be running at the same time, so we'll co-stream their podcast and we'll react and talk about it afterwards. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch that, we are an option, and we'll have plenty of talk after it as well. You'll note we didn't talk about Xbox podcast thing at all during this show because it's not interesting until it happens at this point, but it will be interesting come Thursday, I'm sure. Besides that,
yep,
I think we're out of here. So go and enjoy some games, have some dinner, do whatever it is you're going to do, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.